What is up, guys? Welcome back. So today we got some good news and we got some bad news, just like normal. The good news is I got a bug on my butt and started to clean the garage. That's pretty good. Feel good about that. I know you can't really tell from behind me, but mostly just like threw away some trash and got the floor cleaned up. But the other part is that I don't really even have any bad news today. I just got done talking to Roadrunner converters and decided to give them a call because they didn't respond to my last email that I sent them. Decided to call, talk to the guy, and he's like, yeah, just send it back. Like, okay, well, that's what I was trying to get in my last email was, how much is it going to cost? How long does it take? Stuff like that. And they're like, well, if you bought it in the last few months, we'll just fix it for free and send it back. It'll take like a half a day. He's like, we'll usually get it, and then we'll repair it. It'll take about a half a day, and then we'll send it back out. Okay, well, I guess I can deal with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go drop that thing off, get it sent out today. Today is a Friday. So we'll see how long it takes to get it back, but that should work out pretty good. I'm kind of happy about that. It's a little expensive to ship it. It'll be like 80 bucks to ship it back, but if they're going to repair it for free and just send it back, I'm totally on board with that, and we'll give this thing a whirl and see what happens. But it sounds like sending it back to Roadrunner is going to be the cheapest option at 80 bucks for shipping to send it back, so that's what I'm going to do. Let's go do it. Also picked up a new toy here. Come on. Really? All right. So, low profile jack. Why would I need a low profile jack, you ask? Well, the other jack can't fit under the Nissan, the 350Z. So that transmission is going to have to get replaced pretty soon because it doesn't have third, fifth, or sixth gear. So I've been driving it 1, 2, 4 for like a couple months now, or a month or something. So we're going to unbox this thing. If you guys know at all where to get a transmission rebuild kit for that transmission, the manual transmission, or if you got a super sweet hookup on a 6-speed, let me know. I'd like to maybe try to do the rebuild on it, but I'm having a hell of a time finding a kit for it, or like any of the gears or whatever to rebuild the stuff. So I'd be up for the challenge, but can't find any of the parts. Alright, so torque converter is in the mail. It's dropped off. Hopefully that thing will be back pretty soon. So I'm going to take a different flex plate and put a different flex plate on. So let's get the old one off, and I'm going to try to do something kind of cool with the old one, and I want to try to make a tool that's going to hold a flex plate to keep it from turning. Weld up a bracket and cut up this old thing, and we'll try to do something cool. All right, so we're back under, and I already got the torque converter bolt snapped loose. But what I do is I usually put a socket, I jam a socket against the dowel pin here, and then you can actually turn the bolt without the flex plate turning. It's a little tough with the dowel pin missing though, like this side doesn't have it in there, so I would usually try to wedge it in between the flex plate and the block, but sometimes I can push the flex plate out, so that's why I want to kind of make this little tool deal. I've always kind of wanted one, but never really decided to build it. So maybe now that we have the time, we'll just go ahead and do it. We'll have a sacrificial flex plate. I actually have a small block flex plate that I might use. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. I actually have like a bunch of different flex plates now that I think about it. I have a 240SX flex plate that I use for my trans jack. I have a small block 350 flex plate, and I have 3 of these LS flex plates. So we got all kinds of options. So let's see if we can get this turd off without bashing it into our face. And I might actually pull, I want to see if this thing is is bent. I'm curious to see what this looks like after our debacle. It does have the spacer on here attached, so I'll have to remember that. Wow, there's a lot of junk behind that. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if that was actually like an uneven, because it's not very clean back there, and there's a bunch of junk smashed in there, so I wonder if when I torqued it down, I wonder if it was a little uneven. That'd be interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. So this looks okay. No other cracks. I don't think. Well, let me get a different light. I see something interesting. What have we have? Yeah, it looks okay. So yeah, I don't really see any cracks, unless this is a whole big crack. I hope that's not a crack. Interesting. I might do a little more investigating on that. I don't think it's a crack, but it's a line. It's definitely a line. Maybe I'll look back at some of the old videos and see if that thing is actually on there before, like during the rebuild video. Show you what I'm looking at. This little guy right here, and it's kind of in that spot right where I wonder if that's a crack. It looks like it's raised though. It doesn't look like a crack, but I'm just paranoid. You know how I get. That's where that flex plate was digging in. A little diggy there. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna do it. If I wanna build it using the bolt hole, or if I wanna do it off of this side with the bolt hole here. I think I might actually do the starter holes, the starter bolt holes, because then I'll be able to do it with the transmission mounted. I can still grab the flex plate down in this section, or down up here, and bolt this thing on, grab the flex plate, and that would be good for like torquing balancer bolt, because then that thing wouldn't actually turn. That'd be kind of cool. All right, guys, so this thing, I looked at it from a little bit of a different angle, and it kind of looked like a crack. So I was a little nervous about it, because it comes right down to this part where this was actually broken. So I thought this was kind of cracked here. So I got pretty frustrated at that point. But I want to show you something else. This is the old LQ4 that I blew the hole in over in the boneyard. And if you look, it has like that almost identical mark on it, right in the same spot, all the way down. So I'm pretty confident that's a casting mark. See how off camera I got pretty frustrated because I thought that thing was cracked and didn't really want to deal with the whole block change again. So glad I looked at the other one, decided to look at the other one. It has an identical mark on it because that thing really does look like a crack. If you look at it kind of like up and straight in, it looks like it's a crack. So my next step, I was going to take like a little Dremel and like Dremel some of the stuff away to see if it was actually cracked. But I'm pretty confident it's just a casting mark now because of that thing. So let's continue. All right, so here's something a little bit interesting. These are both the same flex plates. They're both the 531 number. They're the same thing. Have the spacers underneath and run a pretty flat edge right here. And you can see that this one flex plate is quite a bit higher. So this is actually the one that was in the truck when that happened. This is the one that came with the low oil pressure rebuild. So I'm actually going to throw this one in there, and you can see it's quite a big difference. So this one actually, I think this got bent, and you can kind of visually see it. It's dished a little bit, but they're supposed to be the same. There's quite a big difference. All right, let's get this thing up. This is the one I'm not going to use, so I'm going to take a piece right here, probably, because it's not welded on, and put on my OSHA jumpsuit and cut this thing off. There you go. So now that piece will be probably pretty sweet. A little hot. So then it'll basically be able to engage the flex plate when I weld it on, and now she won't turn. I'm going to be super duper fancy here and actually use an old starter. This is the one that I had in there before, but I had to keep hitting it with a hammer because it was basically junk, because I bought it brand new and I replaced it with one that I got from the junkyard. So I'm going to mark where the holes are, and then we'll take it over to the drill press and do a little pokey pokey. Because I know you guys won't be completely satisfied unless you get to yell at me for something. We're going to drill some holes. And I'm just going to do it like this. There you go. Didn't use lube, had it on the wrong setting, no safety glasses, oxygen content in the garage is too low. Alright, so we're going to chippy a little couple pieces off. I cut a little bit off of here. I'm going to cut a piece that's about the same size as the flex plate chunk. And you'll see why in a minute. I'm going to test fit this piece quick. So what's fantastic about this situation is that I can't reach anything right now. But besides that, this tool is like, that I'm making is like the tool that you wish you had every time you need it, but as soon as you need it, as soon as you don't need it anymore because you're done needing it, you immediately forget about needing it. So you never make it, you never buy it, you just never care. Until the next time you absolutely need it and wish you had it. That's what's kind of funny about it. So you never care enough about it when you don't need it to make it. So let's give this thing a couple tacks and tacks with a K. My welder is getting wrapped up in my light that I'm trying to use so you guys can see what's going on. Whew. All right, let's do some stuff. I wonder if we can use a flex plate as a welding table. You think that'll work? Let's try it. It's probably not going to pass enough current through it. Let's not try it. Let's say we did. We'll pretend we did. It'll be really cool. Yep, I'm welding on the floor because that's what I do. I weld in the floor, on the floor in my garage. That's just how things work. Just gonna do some tacks all the way around. So it doesn't shift. Now we'll lay some dimes. Sometimes I confuse dimes with boogers though. All right, guys, so here we go. Here's the tool, the whole thing, good to go. And I want you guys to get a good look at this. This thing is pretty sweet, pretty nice. And so I also wanted to talk to you guys about how you can tell if the weld is good or not. So you can ask yourself two things. Is the metal stuck together? Yeah, that's good. And then number two is it a structural weld that's going to be used to hold up a bridge that transports passenger cars carrying mothers and children escaping a zombie apocalypse? If the answer to that is no, and the metal is stuck together, it'll be fine. All right, guys, so here it is. We got this little guy here. If we put one bolt in, you can actually pull it back, pivot it away from the flex plate, and then it'll engage. So now if you're spinning counterclockwise or clockwise from the front, like you're tightening the balancer bolt, this thing will engage and it pushes up against the block, and it's actually pretty tight. It works very well. So on the other side, if you're over here and you're tightening, so this would also work if you're tightening converter bolts or you're loosening the flex plate bolts. So if you're tightening these, this will be pulling down over here. So it's actually going to kind of pull it away a little bit. Actually, it's actually pretty good. But I'm going to put the other bolt in. Make sure this thing is tight, and then we'll be able to rip on these flex plate bolts, and that should be pretty good. All right, so we got our awesome tool here bolted in, and we're gonna give these flex plate bolts a little torquey. So I think the proper sequence is 3 passes, 15, 37, and then 74. So I already kind of ugga-dugga them on with the impact. So I'm just going to do the 37 pass and see where that takes us. They're probably tighter than that already, but this will be 37. We'll see how this little tool works. What I really like about this tool is you'll be able to get in there with the transmission on also. So that's really cool. So now let's go to the 74. Let's see how this goes. Actually working pretty good. There. I feel pretty good about that. Every one of them's torqued. Let's check the first one. Cool. So I really like this tool. This tool is awesome. The greatest thing I'll never need. Alright guys, I think that tool works pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. It's kind of one of those things like you're not really going to need it all that much, but when you need it, it's awesome to have it. And I've always wanted one. Like every single time that I've ever dealt with tightening a torque converter or doing anything like that where the crank is spinning and you need to lock it in place, I've always wanted a tool like that and just never did it. So now I did it. Totally awesome. Question for you guys. What should I do with all this stuff? I got pretty much a whole engine here besides a block and heads. So this is all from the low oil pressure engine. Crank would need to be polished, but I got pretty much the whole shebang there. There is a guy local to here, pretty close, selling a 6-liter block, and maybe I could get a pretty decent price on that, so that might be cool. Kind of thinking about building just like a spare engine. We're using all the old stuff. Spare engine just laying around. I got all of these extra transmission parts. So I kind of almost have enough parts for a spare engine and a spare trans. So what should I do? Should I build those things and just keep them sitting around? Because you know I'm gonna probably blow the stuff up again or break it or whatever. Because essentially I'm almost trying to break it or push it to a limit where it's gonna break. So I think that might be a good idea. Let me know what you guys think. I definitely don't just want the stuff sitting around, so I gotta do something with it. Or should we do something totally crazy and build it and blow it up on purpose or do something weird with it? Let me know what you guys think. Either way, I think it'd be fun. Leave it in the comments. Have a good night.